Okay.
We are live. We
All
are
right.
we are live. Hey Facebook fam. Hey YouTube fam. Part 3 of this conversation around bringing sexy back. Everybody do it with me. I'm bringing sexy back.
Yes.
I know I'm showing my arms, but you really should be moving your hips, right? I
Yes.
say why? Pioneer and visionary of the womb sauna, where we teach women how to heal everything, including their sexual and sensual health. And so, part 1, we defined for you what we mean by sexual health and sacred sexuality. Part 2, we talked about why you should treat your sexual health as you would treat any other category of health: mental health, emotional health, physical health. Yeah, sexual health matters. You should be walking around this planet like a penguin, sisters. And then part 3, I want to give you some practical techniques to be able to really um, start implementing some of the things we've talked about, because talk is cheap without action, right? So faith is dead without works. So I'm not just going to give you all this yummy, juicy energy and not give you some practical techniques to be able to implement what we are talking about. So do me a favor, if you are here live with us in real time, put your greeting in the chat. Say, hey, y'all, we want the algorithms to pick up that we are here. We don't want anybody to miss these important conversations. So go ahead and hit up the chat, whether you are on YouTube or whether you are on Facebook, and just chime in and say, hey, ladies, I'm catching part 3. If you've been with us for all 3 parts, let us know that, and just say, tell us what this has been like for you being here in this conversation with us. And I have my incredible sister and friend and mentee, Tresa Simmons, who is the visionary and pioneer of the sensually empowered woman movement. And we have a special treat. I'm going to announce it up front and at the end. But Tresa's retreat, which we've been telling you about, is coming up in October. And as a sponsor and one of the facilitators of this beautiful exchange, I am offering a $1,250 scholarship to the retreat. What? If y'all aren't
Ooh.
twerking right there, I want to see the left cheek, right cheek. I need this.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
need.
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you how you qualify for the opportunity, because there are some qualifications, right? So, number one, all you got to do is go to the womb.sauna-university.com. You can take either a free or paid course, but just pick one. We have over 10 course categories. Sign up for one of the courses that will qualify you for the scholarship opportunity. Some of you probably are already students over there. I don't care. Sign up for a class you haven't signed up for already, okay, to qualify for the scholarship. And then
Mhm.
let me know that you have. I'll see a notification, but I'll also verify. And then secondly, just join my Facebook group, Let the Womb Be Heard. Let the Womb Be Heard. It's free. It's no pressure
Mhm.
to be a part of that community, because we have a lot of these conversations about the power of pleasure. And in that space, it is sacred virtual space that I've created for women and build authentic, nurturing exchanges with one another. You get to promote if you're in business. Anything that your womb wants to share, you can share and let the womb be heard. So those are the 2 things you need to do to qualify for the scholarship opportunity. Number one, go to the womb.sauna-university.com, take either a free or paid course. I don't care, either or. And 2, join Let the Womb Be Heard, and then contact Tressa and say, hey, I have submitted my qualifications for the scholarship. Please put my name in the hat, and we will verify that you've done those 2 things. If you've already become a member of Let the Womb Be Heard, then of course you already have met half of the qualifications. And it's possible that some of you listening have, because we got almost 2,000 women in that group. So you may already be a member. And that's
Mhm.
fine. I'm okay with that. I just want y'all to be in the practice of recognizing when your soul is getting what it needs to be properly nourished, and investing in the things, the people, the spaces that do that for you. Now, once you have received the $1,250 scholarship, Tressa will review with you how to confirm the rest of your balance, because the scholarship covers part of your expenses to attend the retreat, but it puts a big chunk in it, right? It's half. And
It's
so
that.
that you will be able to have that financial incentive to be there, because you're going to be mad when all the pictures and the reels and all the stuff hit social media. You're like, I wanted to be there so bad. So we are happy to offer this to you to make it easier for you to get to Phoenix, Arizona and come play with us, right? Because it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It's
powerful.
gonna be fun for sure.
So, Tressa, thank you so much for
You're
allowing
welcome.
me to offer this to my community and to the sisters that are connecting to what we're doing and feeling inspired by it. You are so generous. It's ridiculous how kind and generous you are. Like, you must know
Thank you.
God to be able to give all that you do and pour the way you do. It's obvious. There's a scripture in the Bible that says you will know them by their fruit. Well, baby, you got a whole cornucopia of fruit over there. And so thank you for this opportunity for our listeners. I think it is awesome.
Yes, yes. I love to give.
Yeah. Let's get into some practical everyday things you can do to
Okay.
begin to heighten your senses and your sensitivity to pleasure and how much joy you're actually circulating on a regular basis through your body. So, I'm going to give just three simple techniques that I think can get you started. And then, Tressa, I want you to give three techniques too. So, I'll jump in
Okay.
my three first. One of the things I like to do is stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, and I just do that through gently rubbing. So if you're watching right now, just take like your fingertips and just gently rub up and down your arms. Just take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sometimes, like when I'm trying to get through my email midday, I'll just stop and I'll just comfort myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The body needs signals that something is occurring that it needs to occur. And the body also needs signals that it's safe, right? So when you do something like this, keep rubbing, enjoy, don't resist
mm-hmm.
it. Give yourself a moment. Some of y'all need this moment for real, for real. Right? So just give yourself the moment. When you do things like this, it allows you to send the signals to your brain and to, the parts of your body that you're gently comforting that something is happening, and what's happening is stimulation, and stimulation is
Mm-hmm.
important for blood flow. And when you combine this with breath, it allows you to sync more
Yeah,
mindfully with your body, right? So
yeah.
you can close your eyes if you need to and just
Ooh, don't get us started.
it feels so good about it, right? You ain't know you needed that trust, right? It's just like, and then sometimes I'll just hold myself and rock my hips because, I like to rock my hips. Sometimes I need to just roll my neck and just allow myself to be present. And when you're doing these types of things, and you can hone anywhere, some people call this honing, you can do this anywhere.
Mm-hmm,
You can
mm-hmm,
rub your legs, down your legs. Um, and the body stores information. So when you're beginning to connect and sync with your body, and let's say you decide to roll your neck and you're like, oh, it's a little tight there. That's information. That's information. And so you can send your breath. You can breathe in and visualize sending your breath anywhere in your body that you feel tension, tightness, or stress, and be able to really just allow yourself to become fully present in your body. It's easy to use your body, but it can be more challenging to become present in your body. So this is the first technique that I want to teach you, right? And it's feels so good that I don't really want to stop, but I'm gonna just, I'm gonna just get to the second one. So I hope you are enjoying yourself. If you was doing your arms, do your legs. Do the inner
yeah.
thighs, right? Do the inner
Mhm.
thighs. Do the hips. Sometimes I don't wait for someone to smack my ass. Sometimes I smack my own ass, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta do it. You just gotta just go there sometimes
Yeah.
and discover for yourself what you enjoy. Go behind your knees. Ladies, y'all wanna know a secret? There's two spots I be turning my men out with, right? One is the elbows. I know y'all gonna laugh, but I suck elbows. Judge yourself. Judge yourself. Okay. And behind the knees. I be getting them behind the knees, Tresa.
Sounds good to me.
I'll gently rub, stroke, kiss, suck. I love the element of the unexpected joy. And so you'll learn in this conversation how to talk about fetishes. Like I teach a whole curriculum in my Power Pleasure Masterclass around fetishes and how to recognize and honor the things that really excite you that may surprise you that they do, like elbows and behind the knees. Okay. Rub the top part of your knees and see what that feels like. Right, that may be very soothing, especially and this kind of movement with your body really helps when you have built up inflammation accumulated in your body. Sometimes I'm not even aware of where I'm storing pain and resistance in my body until I get some body work, until I get on the massage table, or until I'm being intimate physically with my lover. I'm not even aware that, oh, dang, when you poke there, when you stroke there, when you squeeze there, that actually hurt. And so you want to pay attention to that. You want to use your breath to send that breath there. Okay, so y'all can stop rubbing yourselves now, all right? Because y'all getting too, y'all get really excited. If I don't stop y'all now, who knows where this live is going to go? And I ain't trying to get it shut down, okay? So the other technique that I want to teach you is a technique that brings rhythm into your body intentionally, right? And it's a technique that's called emotional frequency tapping. And some of you may be familiar with EFT. Put an exclamation mark in the comment section if you are familiar with emotional frequency tapping. And so let's start at the crown. You can just tap here. And the tapping technique that I'm going to teach you today is actually going to be focused on activating your endocrine system and balancing your hormones, and activating your womb energy, right? So we're going to start here. Then you're going to come in between your brows. I don't flatten my bush. As hard as it is to try to get it even. I don't care. Some of our people online in the chat box, girl, on YouTube talking about, yes, behind the knees, best kept secret. It really is. And that elbow skin. I'm telling you, I be nibbling on that elbow skin. They be going crazy. Like, what was that? Like, it's Thema. Aziz. Wow. Come under the nose. You're going to tap here. Under the nose. Mm-hmm. You're going to come under the lip. Okay. You're going to come on the thymus and thyroid parts right here. You can come across thyroid and thymus. This helps stimulate your white blood cell activation and the immune system, which is great, especially when you are really sexually active, because as I said yesterday in part two, one of the first physiological responses that your body has when you are taking on a new partner is in your immune system, right? So tapping here, if you feel like your allergies have been acting up or you're catching a cold, tap these glands, the thymus and the thyroid. When you're having difficulty speaking your truth, right? Tap over your heart, right over your heart. Mm-hmm. And this is good because most people don't know that the heart participates in the endocrine system, not just the circulatory system. The heart makes hormones too. The heart is directly connected to the womb. If you even look at the shape of the uterus, it kind of has that outline of the heart shape, right? Like they are connected. I call the womb the second heart. And so you want to tap over your heart. Then this is going to be the fun part, y'all. So y'all follow me, right? I'm going to stand up for a second. So now you're going to find these points. You're going to come
Uh-oh.
down. When you get to where your belly button area is, you're going to press in. That's where your adrenals are. Okay. Once
Okay.
you just press in like this, it's going to make your belly shake, right? Then I want you to do a deep compression and see if you can go in 1 to 2 inches. You may find that it feels like something's pushing back or it may hurt a little bit, but that's okay. That's information, because a lot of women, when their adrenals are overworked, don't realize how that pumps out too much cortisol and then throws off your estrogen levels, right? So there's a connection. So I want you to go ahead, stir up the energy right over your adrenals. All right. Press in, do a deep compression in, see how far you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Release. And then you can push in again, shake up that energy, do another deep compression there, right? Okay. Then you're going to take your thumbs. You're going to put them in your belly button. You're going to map your womb. You're going to make a little diamond right over there. Okay. And then you're going to bring your fingers out. And where your fingers land is where your ovaries typically are, right? So it's going to look like this. I'm so tall now. I don't know if it's going. I have to go back a little bit more.
We can see you.
Okay, good. So right here, now I got belly. You may have a flat tummy, but I don't. So you may have to lift up some of your belly to get in there and really shake up your ovaries. Oh, that feels good. Trust, you should do this, baby. You should get hip to it. Come on, Trust.
I'm going. I was thinking in my mind. I'm going. As soon as this is over with, I'm going to re-listen to
You
this
gonna
so I can
re-listen to
practice this.
y'all know why Trust and I stand up. She probably ain't got no bottoms on knowing her. Her what?
Don't tell it. Don't tell it.
So you're gonna go ahead and press in and shake those ovaries up, right? These things actually do matter, and learning how to map your body and how your energy is moving through your body can literally save your life. All right, so I like to combine the tapping with affirmation. So sometimes when I'm hitting that crown chakra point, I'm like, I know who I am. I know what I'm doing with my life. I trust the process. I trust myself in the process. I see clearly, right? So y'all go ahead and walk through these movements. I want you to identify.
Yes, I know who I am. I see clearly.
I see clearly. I trust my vision. I
I
love my.
trust my vision. I love my vision.
Hmm. I know my words have power.
I know my words have
I say
power.
matters. I know that
What
there
I
is
say.
life or death in my mouth. What am I creating
Yeah.
with my words? What am I doing with my afoshe? My heart is open. Love is easy. Fear is hard. Love, though,
Yeah.
I am love. I am love. I am love. Oh, and I love love. I love giving love. I love receiving love. Love overflows. Love fills this body up. From head to toe, I am bathed and baptized in my clarity that I am love. I'm not chasing love. I'm not seeking love. I am love. I am what I seek, right? So these are the types of things I do. And then I come on down to the adrenals and I shake things up there and do my deep compressions. I am balanced. I am whole. I am fortified. I
I
trust my
love that.
instincts. Think about the function of these organs that you're connecting with. The adrenals activate in your fight or flight response. So when you want to affirm that part of your body, you can simply say, like, I trust my instincts. I am safe. How about that?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead and come to your ovaries. I create everything I need. My life is a direct reflection of my creative power. Mm. And I create the life of my dreams. I love my life. I love what I do. I love who I be. I am that I am. Right? And then when you're
Yes.
done doing this rhythmic exercise with your body, I want you to stand up and you're going to get on your tippy toes. You're going to come down 1. On your tippy toes, come down 2. On your tippy toes, come down 3. You're going to ground that energy through your earth chakra, which is at the bottom of your feet, into the auric field. All right. So these are ways that I do. I could be sitting at my desk sometimes just checking out different things, and I'll start tapping. I'll be in full blown strategic partnership meetings at
Yeah.
a restaurant, and I'll just start doing this. And sometimes you catch yourself subconsciously doing these things because you don't even realize. It's like you come in the house and you carrying a bunch of bags. One of the first things you physiologically will do when you put those bags on is go, whoo. You take this relieving breath, right? So just imagine the power of using these things intentionally. So you having some anxiety because you can ready to go on a date with Bay, and it's the first date, and you want to make sure I be in the mirror in between the beat on my face. Sometimes I'll use my makeup brush and be like, "Ooh, we need to tap some points," and then okay, ooh, girl, what you gonna say tonight? Don't tell him about the ex. He don't need to know about none of that. You know what I mean? Like these are tools, real tools you can implement. They're easy, they're free. Use them. That's why I'm telling them to you. So that's the second technique, emotional frequency tapping. If you Google, you'll find different types of guides. So if you want an EFT for specific purposes, they have like diagrams, maps for free online. You can just go look this stuff up and expand your knowledge about it. But that's an introduction to it that you can use. And then the third technique you can use is all centered on your breath, right? So I want you, if your legs are crossed, to uncross your legs. And I want you to imagine that when you inhale, that breath is going all the way down to your yoni. And I want you to visualize that your yoni is actually breathing and opening and closing with every inhale and exhale. So it's a very simple breath, but it does help you become aware of how energy is moving through your body. And it also allows you to move it. So breath work is very powerful. I wish my brother Aaron was here because he has a whole um, teaching around breath work and training program for breathwork specialists. Like breath alone is so powerful. And think about it, it is the breath that you breathe that is the evidence that God is real and is inside of you, right? So imagine activating that breath and what it can do. So take a deep breath in, and when you breathe in, I want you to push your belly button out and take in as much air as you can, and imagine that that air is traveling all the way down through your body to your yoni, and your yoni opens. And then as you exhale, you're going to close that energy back up and bring it back up and allow it to release out the crown of your head. Okay, so this is a visualization and a breath work exercise. So deep breath in, push that belly out, let that air travel down. As you exhale, seal that energy up, bring it back up, bring that belly button in. Okay, good. Inhale, belly button out. You're going to continue to breathe this way. Fully relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your neck, relax your belly, relax your body as this breath is moving, traveling in and out. Keep breathing in, belly button out. Exhale. Ooh, yeah. Feel the sensation of your breath. Feel the power of your breath. Feel what your body needs. Feel your posture as you're using this breath to move and help regulate your core, where your willpower sits. You'll know when you're breathing deep enough because you'll feel it in your rib cage on your inhale. And imagine that your yoni is a flower that is blooming with each breath that you take. If she's been closed, she's allowed to open and show her beauty. She's allowed to demonstrate that she's safe and knows who she is. Let's do 3 more deep breaths. When you get to your third one, on that exhale, I want you to make the sound ha. Ha is the sound of the heart. Feels good. I hope you're enjoying yourselves because I enjoy myself when I do these things. I've learned the power of breath work sexually. I learned how to sync my breath with my lovers and allow the breath and the breathing pattern to intensify and usher us right into the climax. Right? If you notice, when you start concentrating, when you get in there, your breathing pattern changes, right? You build in energy. Breath is energy. I want y'all to learn how to use it. And so I wanted to give you those techniques. I hope they're valuable. Put in the comment section if they're helpful. If you need it.
They're very valuable.
Yeah, I hope y'all learn something. I hope you use it. So the next time you get in some, let your lover be like, why she breathing like that? Just be, and if he asks, be like, I'm blooming. Thema told me to bloom. I'm blooming. I'm blooming for you right now. He was like, dang, this breath. And then when you combine it with rhythm, right? You can become more masterful with your stroke and what you do with your body through the breath, right? You can learn all these different techniques. So there's a whole teaching and all kinds of, this is ancient wisdom, old information, but you don't know what you don't know until you do. So number one,
Yeah.
what was the first technique I gave, Tresa?
The first one wasn't what it was tapping. It wasn't
No,
tapping, was it?
something before the tapping.
Oh, this one. This one, Tamer.
Oh, yeah, I did so much rubbing of myself, breathing and moving the energy. I got lost.
Yes, this
So the
one,
first
this one, this
technique,
one.
honing, stimulating.
Honing. Yes, this one.
And you can do this on your partners too. You'll be surprised how soothing and nurturing the session will be. And then the second thing is the tapping, and then the third thing is the breath work,
It's the breath.
how to use your breath to open and close your yoni chakra, that energy center in your body. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. Tresa, what techniques have you learned being the soul snatch? Can you give us some soul snatching?
I'm gonna start with one of the things that you said towards the end when you talked about the breath work and being, and so women can use it with their partner without, but I kind of started, I'm thinking about women who haven't really been connected to their bodies as much,
Mm-hmm.
and so whether they use it with their partner or not, but um you can breathe to the use your breath so you don't, so when you start to feel like you're coming, you can regulate your breath and pull yourself back. Regulate your breath and pull yourself back, because when you do that a couple of times, you will find the explosion that you have is so much more powerful when you train yourself to like move in that flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one of the things that I had. I thought
I
about that
love
when
that
you was
technique because literally a lot of women who have become congested sexually, they hold back their climaxes because of fear, anxiety. But to discipline your climaxes just for the play and the pleasure of it, just to see what your capacity is and how to build the energy and let it expand in a way that feels like a tsunami. I think that's great. So what
yes.
specifically do they do, Tressa, with their breathing pattern to be able to accomplish that? Do they?
So
What
I know
what do they do?
so well, with me, it's kind of like I just kind of, like you said, kind of tap into the breath. I'm like feeling myself when I really want to rush it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning to control my breath, like being in control of it, not letting it just take me off so that I can experience it. And then I kind of pull back. But you made me think about something I hadn't thought about, these women who might be, um, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I kind of just pull back so I'm able to learn. And I had to learn how to do it, because sometimes when it get like that, you be like, you just want to.
No, no, no,
go and you just want to
and go to
have
sleep
it.
and
And
make a
I'm like,
sandwich. Yeah, I know.
yes. And but I've learned that there's a moment for that, but also to see how much I can train myself and how like I'm a guy, it'd be like, what? It's like sometimes it'd be like, did I do that to myself? It would be like, oh my God. I feel like that's one of the things. Another thing, Taima, though, is conversation. I think long before any woman because we talked about yesterday about her not trying to perform for men, but what about for herself in the sense that she learns how to be gentle with herself. She learns how to talk very kindly to herself and see herself. For example, my yoni has a name,
Yeah, so does mine.
and so taking time to introduce myself and talk to her and get to know her, because a lot of women are afraid. They don't look at it, they
Mhm.
don't taste it, they don't know much about it. I had one young lady one time, um and she was devastated because a guy told her her clitorius hood was ugly. Out, they're not all alike, they don't look alike. And so because of that, he was really more misinformed than her. But
Mhm.
then that was another thing that brought her to like very much in pain, where it's hard for her to have sex with the next guy because she was scared he was gonna look at her differently because she didn't look like somebody else. And so women have to learn, one of the things is really to be comfortable with how they look
Yeah,
and be,
that's why that mirror work practice becomes really critical. Shout out to
yeah,
practitioner Walida and LaShannon. Both of them have full course curriculums on yoni mirror work and how to look at your yoni. I started allowing my daughter to learn the practice at 4 because one day she came running in my room saying, "Mommy, something's wrong with me." I'm like, "Child, what is it?" She said, "There's black stuff coming out of me." And I'm like, "Where?" And I looked, I said, "Oh, daughter, you don't know what you don't know." And so we do the practice with a consecrated hand mirror. Mine is in the shape of the goddess Ma'at. It's decorated. It's beautiful. It's pretty. Zariel's looks like a beautiful, like, crown and pink and glitter. She picked out the mirror that she wanted to consecrate. And when my daughter wants to explore her body, I teach her. I don't leave her to wander through life or to be trained by her peers. I am her mother, and I show her what it means to really fall in love with your body, right? So I love that you bring
yeah,
that up. Even when I go to the doctors, I remember years ago when I first got on this path, I said to my GYN when I was getting a routine pap smear, I was like, "Hey, you get to see down there. I want to see. Y'all got a mirror around here? What's going on up in there? I want to see my cervix." And they were looking at me like, "Is she serious?" And I was like, "Yeah. Why y'all got me wide open with this beautiful, great lighting? I want to see her because she's mine." And they got a mirror
yeah,
and showed me and laughed. And we had a great conversation. I said, "Now, doctor, explain this to me." And a few years ago, when I crossed into 40, I started having a conversation with my GYN about aging yonis. I was like, "Doc, we need to talk because she's starting to look a little different and I don't understand what I'm looking at." And so he said, "What you mean?" So I cocked my leg back up on the sternum and I said, "You see this right here? Is this supposed to be here like this? Is this supposed to look like this?" Because it didn't always look like, and he hollered with laughter. But I was serious. Don't be afraid to get the information that you need to be very satisfied in your body and comfortable, ladies. So
right.
look at
I
her
think that's, yes,
and
talk to
study
her.
her and affirm your body and become more familiar. You shouldn't hear feedback from somebody else looking at your yoni and describing her that you're not even aware of. Like that sister you was talking about, part of the reason it was probably so traumatic is because she wasn't probably looking at it herself. And so his
And I
opinion,
think
go ahead.
they called it ugly
Mhm.
because it didn't look like someone else's. But women, we all have different clitoris. So I had, well, I should say we have different shapes and different shaped hoods. And so one of my mentors, I used to always say my pussy gonna be everywhere. And one of my mentors she did a deck of cards, and we sent them in, and she chose so many of them. She made it into tarot cards,
Wait,
and
wait, wait.
mine is in
Oh,
there.
slow down, Tressa. I need to make sure I'm tracking you right. So y'all all took selfies of your yodis to be a part of this deck so people can see different.
Yes, and then she had it
You are
laminated.
so
She
wild.
named them different names. She named them different names, and so, but that's not something. So we got to get comfortable in our own body. We got to get comfortable, like you did. Talked about affirmations. I had them down here. I love your affirmations, but just telling ourselves how beautiful we are without we could affirm ourselves without have to have somebody else. Because when we can do it, it does. It's important, and we like to be complimented. But if we don't get it, we okay. We understand there's nothing wrong with us. And
Yes,
so those
important.
are the things we have foreplay. Turn a bath into foreplay. Turn food into foreplay.
I
Turn
have
nature in.
orgasms every time I eat. Like I take my
Yeah,
time, I start breathing deeply. And people need to know that like even the deep breathing before you eat and blessing your food prepares your body for better digestion. Pleasure is a
yeah,
principle of God. It is not a principle of perversion. But yeah, even when I'm eating, it could be an apple, but I'm gonna eat that apple like it's the best apple I've ever had in my life because I'm mindful of that. So, ooh, that's good. So talking to
right. And
yourself and talking to yourself nicely. Put your love talking
right.
voices on, ladies, and just say your name, Thema. Thema.
Yeah. Just talk to yourself the way you would want to, like you're dating yourself and how you would want to be treated. Because your senses help heighten your pleasure. So when you think about outside nature or anything, just allow yourself to be um to experience that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so that's another way.
Yep.
Um And I guess so. Those are some of the ways that I thought about it. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
talked about the back of your knees, the back of your feet, under your feet. Because so I've heard women say, toes, but all those things can be important.
Yeah.
It could, it's a beautiful experience.
So that's allowing yourself to explore and be adventurous. Um,
Yes.
in the last round of Power Pleasure, our final coaching call for this round is tonight. But a few calls back, I had mentioned in one of my Let the Womb Be Heard posts about having a mouthgasm. So of course, when we got to the group coaching call, all this was like, Tamer, I don't care what's in the handbook. I'm gonna need you to teach us what a mouthgasm is and how to have one. So I literally taught them where the erogenous zones are inside of the mouth. And you should have seen them all on the camera, girl. They was like, oh, Tamer. I said, yeah. And I was showing them these points. I said, rub the bottom rim of your gum. They was like, I didn't know the gums had that much sensation. I was like, yeah, it wasn't until one of my lovers licked my teeth and my gums that I discovered it, right? Like, so if I was afraid of adventure, I would miss these points in my body that are stimulating and sensational and yum yum, right? So don't be
Yes.
afraid to explore your body, to explore other bodies. I get just as much pleasure from exploring my body as I do as exploring other
I
bodies.
do too.
I'm not used to lovers who don't give me full range and domain. Like I like to just look at you sometimes. I told my lover last week, I said, hey yo, dance with me. Like, let me show you what I saw on TikTok. Can you do this move right here? Because because I was visualizing your abs when I was looking at this, right? Like, I like those types of things. And it is important to find out your greatest source of stimulation. Are you visual? Are you audible? Are you touch? Are you like, what gets it for you? Is it a combination of all of them? But knowing those things changes the experiences that you have. I do classify that as body wisdom, and you should have it. It will change your life, it'll amplify your pleasure, and it'll allow you to feel more confident in the bedroom.
And I think that, and then being comfortable with being nude. Like some women will not turn the lights on. Some they got to get up under the cover. So this is no judgment. These are things that you were talking to them about. That learning to get comfortable with your body. You cannot. I mean, you won't be comfortable with a man if you're not comfortable with you. And
But so,
like,
okay, this is a good point for me to insert this because I don't know if we really touched on it. If you are an insecure woman and if you have insecurities about your body, don't think that you have to wait to be confident to experience pleasure with your partner. If you have picked right and chosen the correct partner, which I'm getting ready to release a class on actually, y'all will see the class drop between tonight and tomorrow. It's called God Fix My Picker. Hey, you sure God fix God, put that in the chat box. God fix my
pick
picker.
my kicker. Hmm.
Because
Okay.
sometimes that's the issue. Sometimes it's not even you, it's who you picked. But if you pick
Well,
the
yeah, that's true, because you can learn things. Even with the guy I told you about, he
That's the
taught me some
divine
things.
masculines now. The divine masculines, you can literally, I want to give them language because, Tressa, I don't think women are courageous enough and I don't think they've been taught what to say. We've created all this pressure and we even bring perfectionism to the bedroom, and there's no place for perfectionism in the bedroom.
Yes, yes,
Mastery, but not perfectionism, and they're different.
yes.
You can say to your lover, I'm afraid that you're not going to like what she look like. And I'll
Yeah.
give a real life example and testimony. I didn't even have to say it. My divine masculine was so in tune with me. He intuited it. And so he gently laid me down. He said, I need to relax you. He pulled out the oil. He massaged me for like maybe an hour and a half. I probably snored a little bit. I probably did because it was so relaxing. And once he knew I was calm, he rolled me over and said, May I see her? And I said, Sure. By that point, I didn't care. I was so limber. And he began to preach to her. He said, Oh my God, I could not have imagined that you would look this beautiful. I said, Oh, shit. I said, What is happening? And he had his hands, his big hands right there, keeping them open. His strength, that turns me on too. I like to be dom sometimes, but that's a different topic. So his strength was there, and he began to preach and affirm and declare her beauty and her power. And you know how, Trust, if you ever been with a man and he'd be like, What's my name? This was the first time I was with a lover who was invoking my name. As he knew he was giving it what it needed, he was like, Say your name, Thema. I was like, What kind of lovemaking session is this? I have never had this experience before. It wasn't about him at all. He knew he came to serve and change the vibration in my yoni and in my body. These men do exist. Hopefully, I will not take all of them from the rest of my. No, I'm playing.
But they better get it. They better get together,
Pick them up because if you leave them behind, I'm coming. No, all jokes aside, I want you to start thinking about leveraging divine masculine energy because the lingam symbolism is linear, womb symbolism is the spiral, right? But men, powerful men, are good at coming in and moving out the energy.
huh? Hmm.
They will move it out of your body, but if you're afraid to confess, be vulnerable, be honest, there's no healing without the truth. A man can tell what you're confident about and what you're not. My man could tell the first time he called me on a video chat and I had on my hair bonnet and I just wasn't in the mood, had on a t-shirt. He was like, Ooh, you're still just as gorgeous as every time I see you. These men know, and they are willing to participate in your full recovery and your healing. Make space. Put that in the comment section. I'm making room for divine masculine energy in my life.
But they
Women
also know when you holding back, like you said, it don't have to be perfection, but and you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to maybe a total mess everything, but at least be honest and vulnerable. But being know when you holding it back, it's kind of it's like you coming in and you won't, and you can't tell them what you want, and it's okay. For me, animals and children are off limits. Anything else, if I choose, and I don't always choose everything, but I'm just saying if I choose. But I think women are afraid to. Some of them are afraid to say, "I like this. I
mm-hmm,
like this.
mm-hmm,
I want this. I
Yeah.
want to try this. And then because we've been told so many things or nothing
Yeah. Or
or
not
nothing.
knowing
And
at
so
all
we
what's
just,
even possible.
right, nothing at all. So we don't really know. Um, like you said, I'm going to use your words. We don't know what we don't know.
It's true.
And I just think it's, when you start talking about pleasure, some of the basics is just liking yourself,
Mhm.
loving yourself, seeing yourself um, in such a way that you can't get enough of yourself.
Yeah.
And some of these are some of the basic foreplays for just for yourself to begin to want to even experience yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
I think toys is another thing. Like you don't want to take over the bedroom. And I had a guy that wasn't even afraid to play with toys in the bed. You got some men that is afraid of they feel like the toys competing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Insecure man.
but you know,
Those are
it's,
insecure.
it's
And when you get to this level of freedom, you begin to what's the word I want to use? You begin to view these experiences as like a sacred exchange. It's no longer just about the technicality of it, but your soul becomes available. And I know that that can sound scary because there's a lot of rhetoric around like soul ties and all of that. But you are the woman, and nature designed you to only receive what you are willing to take. Can nobody take from you what you aren't willing to give? They may try to physically, but honestly, you are free, you are empowered, you are healed, you are whole, you are recovered. And so when you get into that domain and now you enter the bedroom to play, now you're able to show up in your goddesshood. And you'll know when you're in that frequency because your lover is there to worship. The
yeah,
adoration will be so loud. And some of you, you might be more on like a submissive kind of meek energy, but some of you are straight fire and power, right? And you can hear it in how you talk to your lover and how your energy stirs up and how you stroke your stroke. Some strokes are gentle and stuff. I do all of it, right? It depends on my mood, right? But then some, you be like, boom, you gonna get this, right? And it be like that sometimes. And it's communication, body language. I've had arguments with some of my lovers through our body language, and we've made up through our body language. We have a full conversation through our body language. These are things that I want my sisters to really feel empowered about. And I want you to understand how nature has set it up for you to receive a lot of love in your body, a lot of joy in your body. And I want you to stop letting other people's expectations or desires for what you should do with your body dictate what happens next in your life. Pleasure is medicine. You should have the experiences. And as I said in part two and part one, I don't care how you get there, but get that 7 a week so your brain stays strong, your skin keeps glowing, your edges stay thick. You know what I mean? Like these things are important.
your edges gonna stay
I'm gonna
slick.
need
Yeah,
you
they're
to
gonna
keep
stay
your
nappy.
edges.
They're gonna stay nappy. So okay.
I'm gonna need you to keep your edges, and I'm gonna need your hormones to be well regulated for that to happen. I'm just saying. Y'all know I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
lying because every woman listening and catching a replay is going to be laughing at this point, Tresa, because they're going to be like, "She right. When I am active, my skin is glowing." And I've heard people say, like when I first went through my first divorce, they were like, you need to take a year, Thema, and you need to really just sit with yourself. I was like, well, what is it about 365 days? Who decided it takes a year for me to recover
Hmm.
from a man who wasn't man enough for me? Why do I need to be alone for a year when I ain't breached the vows? I discovered that summoning divine masculine energy helped me recover better and faster. And a lot of women have resistance there because, especially women of color, we're so used to suffering and punishing
Yeah.
ourselves. We're culturally trained to take the blows that are not ours to take. But I don't take no blows from.
Or don't want to be called a hoe. look at that. She just going from one man to one man. She just got, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the conversation, and they have to change the conversation with themselves. They can't let other people define them.
Yeah.
What's
Just
important for
because
them.
he's not over me or y'all aren't over my experience doesn't mean I'm not over it. I lived it,
Right.
and I knew what it took to decide it was done. And when I'm done, I'm done. And I'm on to the next phase of my life because life is for the living. And I want the abundant living. I don't just want the superficial stuff. I'm not going to practice my suffering. No, I am a whole woman. Even when people have attempted to break me, just because they attempted to doesn't mean I default to being broken. My heart is unbreakable because I tend to it first, right? And I respect that
Yeah.
have to learn those skills and they have to get to that point. But part of the learning is learning what to do with men and pick better. And if you stop picking and choose nobody, how is that learning the skill? You got to learn how to fix your picker, which is why I'm doing the class because I realize women really don't know how to pick.
And which reminds me, Tama, when you said that, I won't name this person, but I had somebody I knew, and she seemed like she was just going from this person to this person. And I used to judge her so badly. And then one of the things I did eventually realize, she was staying with these type of men less and less and less. And now she's probably been with her husband over 30 years.
Yep.
My point is, I judged, and I was crazy as hell and stayed with the same person for
As
all
if
them
that was a
years.
badge of honor, staying with a mismatch
Right.
for a long time.
Right. And then turn around and dump and turn around and still had not grown enough. I was about to I worked hard not to call myself out of my name or anything in that sense, because that was just what I didn't know. I hadn't learned my lesson. And went back and stayed and married that person for another 10 years. When I tell you, it was crazy as hell.
Hmm.
And I used to judge this person and these people because they're doing this and this. But one thing they was finding was, this one didn't work, this one didn't work. They had enough courage to know it didn't work and try something different.
Facts.
Whereas, like you said, this thing of staying, whether it was for religious reasons, and I can say a lot of times, because I used to say it was for my children, and I could say it's for religious reasons, and at some point it probably was. But honestly, if I'm telling y'all the truth, and I'm gonna say it, at some point it don't be for the children, it don't be for the religion, it just be because we too afraid or too lazy or too whatever, and just won't do what we need to do to get out.
Hmm. Yep. But
Because I mean,
because even when I was a Christian, and for my Christian listeners, like we say that Christ did the suffering so we wouldn't have to, but then you choose to suffer in the name of Christ. Like, what sense does that make? If
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
mismatch, it's a mismatch. Drop it off. On to the next because there's a match. I literally had a
And
client last week who was like, well, I don't know if I'll find a good man. And this is what I did in her session. Y'all gonna laugh. I said, Google. I got Google Assistant on my phone. I said, how many men are on earth right now? And it read out the number of the trillions of men that are on earth. And I was like, sis, like this one got you tied up, given 10, 15, 20 years. Some of you get the curse to leave, but they still in your body, still in your head. And you're using old information for new experiences. And then you keep repeating the pattern because you won't let it go. You won't accept that, okay, maybe I failed, and just be okay with failing and then get to the next moment, right? So we really do need some concrete teaching, and that's why I'm gonna release that. Y'all, let's see it. So make sure you're on my email list. Make sure you're following my social media. I'm getting ready to drop that flyer on God Fix My Picker so that you can have a better chance at being free and well loved and an experience. If you pick somebody toxic, if you pick somebody underdeveloped, if you pick somebody with a low spiritual and emotional IQ, no wonder you don't feel comfortable when you're in the sheets with them. No wonder.
And then, Tamer, I want to also say that for us women, because I've been there for, oh, girl, for so many years. It took me a long time. For the last 10 years of my marriage, I knew that my ex-husband at the time now had a woman. I ended up sharing. It wasn't my choice, but it was his. And I was still doing this Christian bullshit about how I should be and whatever. And
Pray
you
to God
know,
will change them.
just, well, I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. You know what got me out of that one day? I'll tell y'all about that at the retreat. But I will say it still was not about me initially when I got out for that last spot on time.
Mm,
And then, but what happened, and I was out. And then, but the thing was, I was grateful because I've been there, and we come up with all of these reasons, and we keep going back. And like you said, we don't let go sometimes, but it can. I just want to encourage women to know it can happen. It
mhm.
is a choice. And if you don't make it, I remember my youngest brother, well, not my youngest, but one of my brothers told me, he was like, do you want to suffer now forever, or do you just want to be in pain for a while and move on?
Come
I didn't
on,
really understand what he
for real.
said. I didn't understand what he said till after I got out of it and suffered a long time.
Mhm.
Because there is a difference. You might hurt for a minute, but at that point, but by the time I got out, that last time, I was so done that I didn't even look back, not once. I didn't
Yeah,
even think about it. But we shouldn't have to go through that. We shouldn't have to drag
it's
ourselves
a
through that.
value
And that's
system
called,
issue. It's a value system issue because if you worship the suffering of your God, then you think you're supposed to suffer too. But the
right.
highlight of Christ's life was not the crucifixion, but all the things that happened before and all the things that happened after the resurrection. And there was so much more to Christ's life than just his murder. So what
Yeah.
we focus on gets magnetized. So imagine that everything you learn in your spiritual system is teaching you to suffer, to sacrifice, to martyr your pleasure,
All of those
your
years.
desires.
Yes.
Then yes, you'll find yourself sitting in an unfulfilling marriage for 30 years. And toxic lovers have toxic entitlement. They take pleasure in seeing you sacrifice yourself. So they're never going to be motivated to
Mm.
change because you are the treasure of God. You are the treasure of God. And they got access to you without having to pay a price at all. And even when they misused the treasure, there were no consequences, no accountability, nothing. And women
No.
honestly think, some women honestly think that's gonna change him. He's gonna see that my love for him is so strong. No, boo, he's not gonna learn until he loses you.
And Tame, I want to throw this to him because I know I'm getting kind of personal, but if it could help a woman too. I remember though, even dealing all that stuff, at some point, like in my marriage, things was beginning in my mind. I began to know there was more, even sexually more, whatever. And even though you are here in the street, but guilt will follow you everywhere you go. If I wanted to try something new, he'd be like, "Where you get it from? Who you been messing with?" And so a lot of times this could be another reason some of the women have not allowed themselves to experience because they are holding back because of what this person would say, their partner and all this stuff. I think it's still putting ourselves to the back. And the word that keeps coming to my head is self-betrayal. When
Mm,
we just betraying ourselves over and over and over, when we don't live authentically, when we don't hold ourselves as divine beings and that we're sovereign, and that we have an autonomy that say, hey, this is who I am, what I like. But and another thing, when we don't stand up and be women, and
mm.
we because now and I don't mean this in a way, so I want everybody to hear me. Some women, like, there may be a need that they get help and assistance from their man. That's not what I'm talking about. But in many cases, there are cases where women want to be taken care of. They don't want to get up and um be a grown woman, so they get what they get. And so it kind of stifles them. That, and I'm not talking about the bedroom now, I'm talking about in general, where we cannot be as autonomous as we want, because you're going to either want to be a grown woman doing grown woman stuff, or you want to be a kid being taken. And when, again, I'm talking about taken care of, I'm not talking about in a way that um women can't get help that they need from men. I'm not talking anything about that. I'm talking about those who um have
It's
just
like their whole identity is their relationship.
Okay,
They
thank
don't
you, because
know.
I don't want any
Yeah,
woman on here
you
to feel
trying to
like
find
that.
it. They don't know who
Yeah,
they are outside of being his woman, and so
right,
everything is centered on being his woman. And
right.
this is why women need to know who they are. They need to be confident in that and emotionally self sufficient and spiritually self sufficient. And I dare say financially self sufficient. Now, I'm all for men
Yes.
providing and receiving and all of that. I don't believe in 50-50 ideology and that kind of stuff at all. I think it's unnatural, which is why it's such a loud conversation right now in our community because it's not nature's way. You don't see any other species but black women in America trying to prove that it's okay. You see the
Mm-hmm,
eagle
mm-hmm,
require the eagle to do certain things to make, get access, and start a family and a legacy. So anyway, I digress. Um,
mm-hmm.
I think it's important that women know who they are and be solid in their identity before you begin to merge your life with someone else. I think that ideally you should really, really be solid in your own definition of yourself. And that will eliminate opportunities to be manipulated and violated because your standards concerning yourself, because you're honoring the amount of work you had to put in to define yourself. Your standards are different when you've done that. Your standards are different when you.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Anything else you think the ladies should do to practice becoming really present to their body and feeling what it's like to be more sensual and sexual, other than come to the retreat,
Um,
of course?
Come to a treat, yeah. And I was, and sun gaze that I was just gonna throw this in as a joke. Sun gaze the yoni.
Oh
These are
yeah,
just
I love
these.
sunbathe of Ione. Yeah,
Right, just these are things that just will, I think we've given them enough to start with,
I do.
because once they really start connecting with themselves, they'll find out what they like. And they may be able to take, and don't be afraid, like you talked about fetishes. If you feel like you got one, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of kink or things, but you have to have your hard words and your soft words. If it's not for you, you don't like it, whatever. And it's not for, so there's so many things that could be done. It's not for every woman. If you don't make the other woman bad or wrong, it's just not for you. And know your limits. Don't let somebody do something to you that you don't like or don't want.
Right.
Don't be in the bed taking stuff that you don't like.
Nope.
If it's hurt, if it's unpleasurable, if it's whatever, speak up.
Hmm. Don't take it. Don't suffer unless you really
Yeah.
like suffering. But no, I digress.
Well, that's a different kind of suffering,
That's a
Tam.
different kind of suffering, honey. Oh, these
Mhm.
knots are a little too tight. So I want to pray us out. I want to pray us
Mhm.
out because both the work that you and I do is a bridge between spirituality and sexuality. And I like to model that to help people's nervous system relax a little bit more in the conversation. So I have thoroughly enjoyed, listeners. Those of you who are here live, those of you who are catching the replay, it has been an honor to have such a vulnerable and delicate conversation with you about your life. And it has taken me and Tressa courage to get to where we are. And I'm sure that you are growing in your courage as well. Because we are courageous, we are hopefully activating your courage as well. So, Holy Spirit, Divine Ones, I am so grateful for the opportunity to use my voice, my experiences to be able to bring more knowledge, more power. I'm so thankful for Tressa and her experiences and the experiences that we all have had that are connecting in these three conversations. I ask that you reveal your plan about pleasure to everybody listening. I ask that they are able to define their truth, whether it matches ours or not. I hope that everybody is able to live a life full of joy, not just intellectual joy, not just emotional joy, but I am asking that their bodies are full of
Happy.
joy. Less pain, God, less trauma, more joy, more peace, more prosperity, more love. I invoke it. I send it to everybody listening and tuning in right now. And I pray that you can receive it without any resistance because it is yours to have. And if you have been asking what is God's will, It is love. It is joy. It is peace. You deserve the fruits of the Spirit, and you deserve to experience pleasure in all of its forms, in abundance, running over, pouring all over your life. Ashe, and so it
I
is.
said, and so it
All
is.
right, girl, that was good. That was good.
Okay, tell them one last time about the
So
offering.
one last time, you have the opportunity to come to our retreat in October, and the Womb Sauna as a sponsor, and myself as a facilitator are offering you a $1,250 scholarship. That's my version of the Cabbage Patch, bro. I'm trying to keep it contained because I really want to go all.
Yeah.
But yes, you can get into our retreat in October. And so there's two ways to do it. To qualify for the scholarship, go to the wombsaunauniversity.com, sign up for any of the classes, free or paid, whatever is your preference. There's tons of options there for you. And secondly, make sure you are a member of my Facebook group, Let the Womb Be Heard, and then contact Tresa Simmons. You can reach her on all social media platforms. Let her know that you are coming to claim your opportunity to receive the $1,250 scholarship from the Womb Sauna. And she's going to be like, what? Girl,
Yeah.
let me put your name in the pot. And she will be doing a drawing, and we will be announcing all scholarship recipients. And she will also go over all of the terms of the scholarship with you when you speak with her and connect with her. Let's get you there. We love to create financial incentives in order for you
Yeah.
to get more of what you need. So if you want to join us in our luxurious resorts style, and all of the things, we got incredible speakers, gift bags, all of that we talked about in part one. If you want to be there, we're trying to make it
Yeah,
easy.
you want to be there.
If you
So,
want to,
Tam, I'm gonna go and let. I'm sorry. I'm going to let the wound be heard because when you talked about the housing, that had came to my. It's like we on the same wavelength. That had came to my mind. I want them to see
yeah.
like
So make
it's
sure
just
you join
beautiful.
join my Facebook group. Let the Womb Be Heard. Tressa's gonna go in there and post pictures of where we are staying in October. It is gorgeous. Y'all gonna be like, oh, I want to be there. We believe in even your environment being sensual and stimulating and bringing you joy, right? So we picked something that is beautiful and lush and gorgeous and easy to just decompress and relax, right?
Ooh, and that good food. Ooh, child,
I
sisterhood.
can't wait. And I've never been to Phoenix, so this will be my first time there. I
Okay,
can't,
yeah, it's gonna be magnificent. It's gonna be so beautiful.
I
But
can't wait.
thank you for having me, Tama. I will go in the group, and I'm hoping a woman because you giving them half. They're halfway there.
Halfway there.
They're just halfway there.
Yeah, so grab your scholarships if you need that financial incentive. There's only 5 spots left though, so get there, snag yours, and snag it quickly so that you're locked in and you're able to attend and be there with us. Thank you for your time and your listening ears, and I hope you got what you needed. We love you.
And
Peace. Tressa,
we
hang
love
on
you and
tight.
thank you.
Disconnect. I'm just going to disconnect the stream, but don't disconnect, okay?
Okay.
All right.